Hola amigos, bien o no, saludos desde Medellín. Hoy el tema es cómo generar simpatía y por qué es muy importante, especialmente para nosotros que están, como dice, estudiantes con una nueva lengua. So ese es el tema de hoy. So, hello again from Medellín. Another splendid evening here. Our theme today is rapport. How to generate it and why it's important, especially for those of us who are students of a new language. Why is it particularly important that we perhaps look to generate rapport quickly with new people we meet, and why that's helpful? So let's have a think about that. The first problem we meet as students of new languages is that we suddenly don't have the flexibility of response, the range of vocabulary, perhaps even the sensitivity of tone of what's being said to us, and also how we can respond that we have in our native language. And that can present a bit of a problem because we might mishear things, we might misinterpret things that are being said to us, we might even generally not read the situation well because we're missing key words that were said to us. So for this reason, getting quick rapport with new people we meet, who very often will be completely new people to us, in the sense that perhaps we're on a trip or they're new names, so people we really don't know anything about, so basically strangers to us. How do we generate quick rapport with these people, particularly if our language skills are not quite at the native speaker fluency level? How do we do it? Well, one thing to think about, a lot of it's to do with our tone of voice. Some of it clearly is physicality, our body language, how we present to the person, how friendly we look. And obviously if we have to do this by ringing someone up on the telephone, then we're going to have to rely totally on our tone of voice. But let's assume that we're just asking for directions in the street. So one of the hurdles we have to get over is obviously the other person perhaps will perceive in us someone who is not a native speaker of their language, and they themselves will be a bit tense or perhaps stressed because they think that, oh no, how am I going to talk to this person who doesn't speak my language? So in that sense, by practicing and being very fluent, at least in our initial greeting, that's going to take some of that stress away from the other person, because now it appears you speak at least some of their language. There are nice polite ways to interrupt people. We've spoken about some of those before. My personal favourite is, sorry, can I ask you something? You'll find that in English is almost universally a useful phrase where you can interrupt other people if they're talking to someone, or again you can just attract their attention if you have to stop them in the street to ask them directions. Sorry, can I ask you something? Because in this way you're showing courtesy by apologising for interrupting their day or their conversation, and now you've got their attention because now they know you want to ask them something. So rather than launching straight into where's the metro station, by interrupting them politely first, sorry, can I ask you something, you're giving them a bit more space to answer your question, and you're showing them the courtesy of, like, well, I'm sorry I've interrupted you. Now the other thing to bear in mind is that whatever your question is, the other person wasn't expecting that question. So the answer you're going to get might not be the textbook, oh, the metro station is 2 blocks over there to your left, take you 5 minutes to walk there. You might get all kinds of answers, anything from, wow, where are you from? what are you doing here? Do you like it here? They might ask you all kinds of biographical questions just because they're shocked to meet someone from your country. Equally, they might not generally know the answer. So in this sense, you have to be patient and allow them space to share their information with you. Now, this is one of the other keys for gaining rapport quickly with people, is apart from asking them useful questions, give them the space to answer. Don't keep interrupting them while they're answering. And if you can, if that's applicable to the question that you've asked, share some information back. Because if it's a longer conversation than just, oh, where's the metro station? Maybe you're talking with your taxi driver on your way back from the airport. Now, clearly you're going to get some kind of questions about, oh, where are you from? This is your first time here? Do you like the place? Why are you here? What are you doing? You know, holiday, business, this kind of thing. So the more of those questions you can answer, and a lot of those you can prepare for, clearly, is to think of something you might be able to share back. So maybe they suggest something, oh, I've been to your country, or I know that city where you're from. So you can ask interesting questions of them about what was their experience like in your country to make a connection with them, because they're trying to share with you. So it's partly to give them space to answer, also to try and share something with them or let them share information with you. Clearly to be very thankful of their assistance, but also in some ways, if we can, and again if this situation allows, we want to ask some type of question to see whether there's some way that the both of us together could improve the solution to the situation we're talking about, because often that's applicable. Maybe there's something we're trying to resolve, or maybe there's some way we can help them. So again, that's another way to make quick rapport. But generally remember, some of these questions you know already. Don't expect your new friend to answer the question exactly the way you expected. Allow them space to tell their story. And once you've understood a bit more about what they're telling you, see if there's something you can share from your experience to show them that you're on the same page, as it were. And the final thing to remember, because people like to know that you've listened to them, to show not just that you've understood them, but you were genuinely listening, the easiest thing to do is to summarize what they've said to you before you say your next piece. So there we go, a few more tips for you there. Get ready for your general polite greetings. Be aware that you will need to give space to your new friend to let them speak and share their information. Be ready to share something if that's appropriate. Look for common ground that you might be able to help them with something else. But in all cases, summarize their answer to show that you've understood it well and that you were listening. So have a go at those. See how that helps you. Déjame saber en los comentarios. I hope this one's useful to you. And for now, from Medellin, it's Cheerio.